so we'll move on to support. So we'll start off with AA. So we'll start off with the Roland. Okay, now the Roland is quite a... the Roland AA, it's got a range of 2,801, so it can outrange the basic helicopters that don't have 80 GMs equipped. Its accuracy is 8, so it'll generally hit the target, and it's got a good amount of missiles at 10. That's quite good. It's not that fast, and it's got a bit of armor. I think it's got the same kind of armor as a Tunguska, but its optics are poor, so it's definitely going to need recon if it's going to take advantage of its Roland missiles. Then you upgrade it, and you get higher accuracy and higher damage, and then I'm guessing a speed upgrade here. Yep. You get 2 front and sides, and 1 everywhere else, and an upgrade in speed. However, a decrease in range, so this is less maneuverable, and the missiles stay the same. Overall, the Roland, I'd probably use this as a sort of secondary line AA missile. I wouldn't use it in the main line, just because AA missiles, the main point of them is they can outrange the helicopters. They can hit the helicopters before the helicopters can start firing at them. And the 2,801 meters can be equaled by packed helicopters. So if they fly in some key pines that you take out, and then they attack you with their havocs behind, this it's too risky. These are good for dealing with the keep kind of AA or airborne infantry, nothing else. Now we've got the Flak Panzer. This is a very this is a sort of general purpose AA. It's 15, so don't expect much. It's twin autocannon. Its range is quite good for the price, but this won't be taking down any gunships anytime soon. Its speed isn't that good, and its range is woeful by the looks of it. So this is probably a sort of static AA that you sort of drive into the woods as a nasty little ambush unit that you can spread around the place thanks to its low cost. Upgrading to the 40 unit, you get an upgrade in speed and operational range, so this can go further than the basic Flak Panzer. Also, its gun is more accurate and has a better range. So you can consider this as a main force AA, and then you upgrade to the A1, and it gets a big boost in accuracy to 7, and the stabilizer is normal, so it's more accurate on the move. Of the 3, I'd probably take the Flak Panzer A1. It's only 10 more, but it's got a decent accuracy. I don't know. Either of the Gepards, it's not. I couldn't really choose between them. I'd probably go for the basic Gepard, really thinking about it, because this kind of artillery tends to be accurate anyway when it gets into range. Not the basic one, I wouldn't pick that. However, you get it when you start off as NATO, so that you might be using this a bit in the early games. Let's go through the artillery. Okay, so here's the Vulcan. Now this is sort of like the American counterpart to the Flak Panzer. You start off with just a Gatling gun, so same kind of thing. Decent range, a fair amount of ammo, but it's not maneuverable at all. Bit of an upgrade, and you get some more maneuverability and range. Upgrade some more, and you get a boost in accuracy. Wouldn't use this personally. I'd probably go for the Flak Panzers. And then the final NATO unit, the Chaparral. Now this is a very dedicated AA. It's got a 3,500 meter range, same as a Tunguska. However, it only has 4 missiles, and its accuracy is 3. So here's a lesson. Okay, with a Chaparral, you have to give it as much veterancy as you can afford. Ideally, just give it full veterancy, because if you get sent out into the field, by the time it fires all 4 missiles, it won't have hit anything. Its accuracy is too low. Its damage is decent enough. It'll usually one-shots. The key-packed helicopters only have 5 health, but for the 10 health, you're going to need to upgrade to the second version, which is what I use for my main NATO defense, the M8A1 Chaparral. Also, just to let you know, the Chaparral is very slow and can't fire on the move, so just something to be aware of. So the Advanced Chaparral has a full 4,200 meter range, best of any AA in the game, and equal to the packed Bucks. Accuracy, slight increase to 4 and damage a slight increase to 7. Again, always give this as much veterans as you can. Get the pros using this because they're the only ones you'll be able to make it work. Okay, now we go to artillery. NATO has a lot of this. Let's start off with the French Ox F1. It's quite an interesting artillery. It's got good accuracy, and it's got a sort of and it's got a gun and a machine gun to defend itself. That's the thing. Quite a lot of artillery is defenseless if something else gets into range of it. This thing can fend for itself for a bit, although the low ammo means that without supplies this won't be able to fight for very long. But then again, it's artillery and you'll always be supplying it. You know, average speed and a good armor, so this could fare quite well in counter battery fire because it can take the hits. And the gun itself, its range isn't that good, so it'll probably have to be quite close to the front lines to get some good accuracy in it. But overall, this is a sort of a fairly, you know, it's an all-rounder kind of artillery unit, I'd say. Let's see, then we got this British version. So this, again, this is only 40, so it's quite cheap for a full-on artillery unit. It's got a gun to defend itself, but with only 6 rounds, this is going to have a hard time defending itself against an attack. So the artillery's got fairly good range, and accuracy's, you know, not good. This seems to be a sort of keeping careful, spammable artillery unit. I wouldn't use this too much. I prefer the artillery to be accurate rather than just spamming it with this kind of stuff. Then we got the sort of, I think this is the same kind of thing with America. So, you know, a decent but not that good artillery unit. A machine gun to defend itself, but I really wouldn't count that as worth anything. Slow, not as much armor as the other units, but then it gets cheaper, so you wouldn't expect it. Again, you wouldn't. This is just a basic artillery. Let's upgrade it a bit. So we've got a bit boost in accuracy, so that's quite good, and nearly a doubling in range. So that's very nice. Anything, and a bit faster as well. So that's it for an extra 15 points, and then for an extra 30. Ooh, you get a massive upgrade. So you've got now about a 30,000 meter range, full 10 accuracy, and a gun to defend itself. Any speed. Yep, it's also got more armor in the rear and the top, and a 60 speed. So this, I'd probably go with this version of the two. That's, you know, the same as the British system. It's just too keeping careful for artillery for me. This seems a bit too expensive. Yeah. Actually, well, for 85 compared to the French one, I'd probably go for it. So yeah, the Paladin and this are both decent artillery guns, I'd say. Then we got this kind of dedicated artillery. So it's got a bit of armor. I'm not really sure what's going for it here. Its range isn't that good. Its ammunition is low. That's going to eat through the ammunition. Well, that's the thing. It's only got 8 rounds, so it can't fire for very long without being resupplied. But then it only fires at 2 rounds a minute, so it's not going to consume much supplies, just because it's going to fire so slowly. It does a lot of damage though. 7 for artillery shell. This packs a punch, but it can't fire it accurately. It's got no top armor or rear, so it could be dangerous. And you know, if it gets hit again, I wouldn't go for this. It's also quite expensive at 65. Spend an extra 5 and you get a boost in accuracy and range, but a decrease in operational range. Oh yeah, I wouldn't use this personally. Well, this is basically, it packs a huge amount of damage for its price. The other artillery, as you can see here, see it only has kind of 5, even though it costs 100. So this has got quite a lot of damage, but it's quite fragile and inaccurate. Looks like it's the same kind of thing for the British. Is there any difference between them? Nope, they're clones of each other, and these two clones of each other. So yeah, here's the British version of that, exactly the same. I don't know, it's probably just national pride. Which one you'd go for? Then the mortar carriers. Now these are a very nice unit that I use quite a lot. Okay, so they're 20s. They're cheap. They carry a lot of ammunition, so you generally don't need to supply them that much. The range is, as an artillery, it's awful, but they're mortars, so what do you expect? Now, they actually might look bad, but because the range is so low, there's not a lot of room for error. So these guys can fire quite tight, and you can buy quite a lot of them because they're cheap. However, they're slow, and and if they get hit, they're probably going to die. Then if you upgrade them, you get a decrease in ammunition, but a slight increase in accuracy and range. So they're going to do a bit more damage until they run out of ammunition. And they still have 88 rounds, which isn't too bad. And then, so that's for an extra 15, and then for an extra 10, you get a speed and range increase. I'd probably just stick with the basic mortar. I think the main advantage of this is you don't need anything with them. You can just put them a bit behind your lines, or hammer out a defensive line that's in a secondary part of the map. So you bring these in, $80 will get you 4 of them. You start pounding the enemy with artillery. They think you're attacking there, and you queue away with their defenses on that part of the map. And that means they'll focus more on that part and ignore your main attack if it comes somewhere else. These are just too expensive. But if you lose these are good. These are decent backups. Then you've got the final one. Actually, no, we got the German artillery. Again, this looks like the same kind of thing. So it's got the MG3. Don't rely on that for anything. AG power 5, accuracy 5. Slow. So yeah, this is sort of another basic artillery gun. I don't know. I really in a battle wouldn't be able to tell these kind of units apart. They're just too inaccurate for my liking. Then you've got the American MRS. This is their only rocket launcher. It's quite a good one. It's got a good range of 4,200 meters. Accuracy is quite good, so it can fire quite tight. Definitely, usually fires tighter than the packed artillery. It only has 12 rounds though, so every after one volley, it's out. And its damage is quite good. However, it's quite slow and fragile for something that costs 125, so another dedicated artillery unit. I'd probably use these as a sort of unit to sort of cause panic on a tight-knitted group. If Pack's using some T-80s or something quite high powerful that you don't want them to be using in the battle, you can fire off some of these and take off clusters of ATKM units or stun some tanks. Okay, I think that'll do it for this episode. Next time we'll be covering the vehicles of NATO and the helicopters. Until then, thank you and goodbye.